When you pray for them, there's a Muslim part, there's a Buddhist part, there's Rosicrucianism, there's every kind of religion you have heard about is in there. So basically, all of the rituals, all of the words that are spoken to this little one is enmeshed in the spirit and parts of the Neshama. So you can't steal the whole Neshama.
One wonders how much they can steal of the Neshama.
Yeah. But there's always a part that's connected to God still. So you can never leave you nor forsake.
The won't come in again.
Yeah. So the Bible teaches us that words have power. Hexes, vexes, spells, curses, demonic blessings, and assignments. These are spoken over or attached to a child at conception. So this web of bondage controls the child throughout life. Fallen angels and demons attached to all these words, making sure all that was said is carried out. So the fallen angels and all those things are stuck in their spirit. We thought it's only maybe soul, or fallen angels can't stick to you, but it sticks to that part. These words are embedded into the child through rituals, channeling, and wounding by various types of torture, through trauma-based mind control protocols. These demonic attachments connect to the DNA and the human spirit Neshama at new birth by generational iniquity associated with the bloodline. So getting rid of the fallen angels and demons does not get rid of the programming and the control. If the programming and control are not removed through the process of the reconnecting and reassociating the person's identity, the fallen angels and demons have the right to return. So you try to remove them, but So legal right always involves a human's will, active or passive, their words, deliberate or accidental. Oepsie, ek het nie dit bedoel nie. Invitations, active or passive. Agreements, no or unknown. Choices, active or passive. Violations of humanity, self or others. Woundedness, unrecognized or hidden. So the pre-birth attachments, so examples of the curses, there's curses to the sperm, is bondage to a particular person. The child's will is to belong to a particular person. So the child's will, they're connected to usually the dad, a specific person. Abandonment by others, rejection by those close to the child, alienation from others, and insecurity. And then there's examples of false blessings also attached to that. It's the child will not know success, blessed with emotional pain, anger at people and things that get in the way of the relationship with a particular person, to be critical towards self and others, to live in a confused state, to keep things internally intact and keep things on the outside from interfering. Wil jy gaan kyk het ons sou kyk?
Sorry.
Nee, ietsie het Okay, so then there's examples of attachments or curses to the ovum. Its descendants would not live past a certain age. Homosexuality, pedophilia, dissensions and strife in the family, difficulty with childbirth, inability to bond, no intimacy or happiness in the marriage, lots of health problems, not being accepted in the family, suicidal thoughts and confusion. And false blessings attached to the woman's side. It's dedication to a particular fallen angel. Blessings of beauty if it obeys a particular person. Ugliness if they don't obey. Ancestral evil to suck the life out of the child. Powerlessness amount to nothing. The person would die. Yeah.
We've got a lot of those symptoms.
Yes, now I'm very worried now.
Although it's at least
You gotta
one
be
or
honest.
two. But it does not make us disassociate
Not necessarily,
personality.
no.
So
It depends on how harsh it happens.
Yeah, very deep trauma.
Yeah.
Very deep trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he will still steal your glory through that problem.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah, you can still do that.
strong.
I believe so.
It's just a hunch.
Yeah.
We'll ask the experts. But
Yeah. Yeah. So then there's curses at birth. So it's more curses, false blessings, assignments spoken over the child. Some reinforce that has already been done. Others are new. So it's reinforced some of them and others are new. And then at the development phases, they do all these curses again. Month 1, month 2, month 3, 1 year, 2 year, whatever, it keeps on. So a lifetime of control is established. Or it happens until new birth, probably.
Een nieuwbirth kan enige ouderdom wees.
Yeah, but it's usually from between 9 months and 13 months, as early as possible. So they keep on bringing the gospel, usually the book of John, but whatever they, until they receive it. So the new birth identity, this is a primary target of the enemy to legally possess in spiritual death on an experimental, dissociative and extra-dimensional level. Positionally in Christ, this spiritual connection, the Neshama, cannot be completely broken. That's John 5:24 and 1 Corinthians 6:17.
Sien dit weer?
John 5, verse 24 and 1 Corinthians 6, verse 17. So he's always there in all the trauma, he's there in everything that happened. He never left, he was there. But the enemy had the legal right to steal. So the spirit man is blamable and can become filthy. Demonic hooks get placed into your spirit man and hold you back from growing in the Lord. So the enemy has effectively devised a way in the last generation to legally sequester or confiscate and envelope in spiritual death the new birth identity in those who are SRA and DID in generational sin and spiritual death. So actually every time they go through a trauma or a near-death experience, it's like death. They are wrapped in grave clothes around those parts. That born-again part gets hidden away. And eventually they don't want anything to do with it. But that's where you must get to, is that
it takes time.
that part. So we see the Ark of God was captured into the hands of the enemy. And in Psalm 78, verse 61, it says, "And God now delivered his strength and power, the Ark of the Covenant, into captivity, and his glory into the hands of the foe, the Philistines." Ek weet nie of wil julle 'n ander translation dalk lees. 78. Wil iemand anders lees of is ons reg?
Jy kan lees.
Yeah. So God gave permission for the enemy to take that glory. He gave the permission, otherwise, yeah, they would not be able to do it in any case. But here we also, yeah, and here we also see that Jesus can be in prison. In Matthew 25:36, it says, I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to see me. Yeah, Matthew 25:36.
I always saw it as the part of a person, the Holy Spirit part of the person in his heart that was only Jesus that put it in there. That's how I saw it.
Well, yeah, well, I think it's basically that because they capture that, yeah, it is that. As ek nou reg verstaan, dan die ander bedoel. So if you don't take DID or SRA, and you just take a normal situation, or okay, let's say just DID, where some baby goes through trauma. So sometimes the mom is in a good mood and sometimes the mom is in a bad mood. And the baby never knows which one is coming into the room now. So when the mom is in a bad mood and she is screaming at the baby, then the baby also splits because it has to associate with how to act when she comes in the room. So when she's mad and she's, you know, not being nice to the baby and get you pap, or I don't know, not a good example, then the baby also acts bad. So it creates a bad baby and a bad mommy because this mommy is bad. And then it's got the good mommy, so when mommy is in a good mood and she's then baby is also glad. So there is already a split. And so where that good and bad baby is, that's where let's say that's the first split. So then the good baby accepts Jesus, goes to church and worship God. And the bad baby goes to rituals, is in rebellion, and yeah. And the one does not know about the other one, usually. Yeah. So yeah, we set the perpetrators and programmers wants the child to be born again as young as possible. So, but it's basically what they do with him. It's a good one and a bad one. A good dad and a bad dad. So with a new birth identity, in this way, the spiritual blueprint and template for all programming is installed. It's so, yeah, at the new birth, which incorporates the preconception and conception rituals, curses, and generational iniquity, and becomes deeply embedded and attached to the new birth identity. So, clinical death, this foundational event is installed at the first clinical death following the new birth. It is in this state of clinical death that all the preconception, conception rituals, generational iniquity, curses, and programming are spiritually transferred, formatted, installed, and attached to the human spirit of the new birth identity. Kan jy anders sien daar waar daai van die ek wil niks van Jesus al weet nie, maar daai een vrou mos. Ja.
Soos ek het ondervind het, is hoe meer persoonlikhede daar is, hoe meer kans het jy dat hulle vorentoe kom, want dit raak nou so, daar is nie meer eintlik 'n persoonlikheid nie, daar is hy die.
Yeah, but now this is where you have to get to the core split-offs. You have to get them. There's usually 3. The rest of the personalities, so let's say if a child comes forward and they want to play and they want to have sweeties and whatever, you can't do nothing with them. You're supposed
Get
to,
the
yeah, so you tell them to go to sleep or have some sweeties and then gaan slaap 'n bietjie.
Ja.
Dan gaan roep jy vir my
Ja.
die presenter of met wie ook al jy werk.
Yeah, all depends what they share with you.
Yeah.
Is there adult in your
Ja,
room?
ja, go call the adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So the Christian presenter is usually that born again part of the baby. It's usually the Christian presenter that presents life, that does normal life that most people know, or get that person, or how they get to know them. It's the born again experience is a template for the Christian presenter. The Christian presenter becomes a cover for the original new birth identity. The original new birth identity has been sequestered and enveloped in spiritual death at the base of the DID system. So, and at the coming of age 13 years old, then at a special rites of passage ritual at the age of 13, the perpetrators and programmers will then call out the 13-year-old cult-aligned core representation and extension of themselves from conception to willingly surrender to spiritual death, the person's new birth identity in conformity with the preconception and conception generational agenda, where the blueprint or template for all the programming is spiritually anchored to the human spirit. So at 13 years old, they basically, it's most the bar mitzvah, or what do they call it in Hebrew? Yeah. So it's the coming of age.
Going in and into adulthood.
Yeah, when you legally stand before God and answer for yourself.
Yeah.
So there they willingly do the 5 I wills and themselves do the rituals. Previously it was only done to them, but now they make a decision. I want nothing to do with that baby that gave his heart to Jesus. I'm serving Satan. That's what they basically do.
And that's why they work so hard before birth and just after birth to get that person to
into play.
To accept Jesus, so that they can start destroying.
Yeah. Because it's the best way that Satan can destroy God's people.
Yeah.
Is by destroying that part.
That part.
Yeah. Okay, so and all the generational inequity and everything comes upon that 13-year-old. So that's usually the most angriest part you will find in a person that has SRA or DIDs, that 13-year-old. Because they are angry with God, they are in rebellion, so that's the most, you must get to that part. It's a very important part to get, is that 13-year-old.
Remember a while back you had a girl up here, and she hid behind this little boy, this angry little boy, who didn't want to speak to anyone. He would just speak to you. Did you ever ask what age he was?
The only thing I could recognize was about age 4.
Is it?
Yeah, if I see the way he acted, I would say about age 4.
So
Yeah, because it's the only thing.
Needed to get to 13 to get that in
Yeah.
place. You understand? Because he hides it.
Yeah, that little one must grow up. Actually, also, if you want to work in that cause, they must all grow
They
up.
have to grow up.
Yeah.
They didn't want to reveal the adults.
Yeah,
That's usually the age where something happened.
yeah,
That's where it's generated, where it's created.
yeah. But because you have to work with the core parts, usually when you get to something, they'll kick out one of the little ones
Yeah, and
to go and distract
keep
you.
busy,
Yeah, to keep you busy. Yeah. They want to say rhymes and they want to, keep you busy. So at this point, the counselor needs to help the survivor identify this primary aspect of their identity called out at age 13, who holds the person's most substantial history of anger, wrath, bitterness, and hatred for God. Christians, the church, biological and surrogate family representing the primary perpetrators. So the primary presenting Christian host persona, along with all the other aspects of the person's identity, will need to join or merge with this cult-aligned aspect of their identity. So all of them needs to join with this 13-year-old.
To that becoming an adult.
Yeah. And then the 13-year-old needs to go and embrace the little baby
Yeah, and
that she actually or he actually hates.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the reconfiguration.
Kom ons sê a child that was conceived, like a donor, a sperm, you don't know,
With the father or
who
his
the
or what?
father, and then you can sit with that problem and not know it.
Yeah.
That's,
Yes.
you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's when in counseling you have to go off the Neshama, because that little one that doesn't know who's his father or whatever, his Neshama will know what's the problem or what happened or where to
Kom ons
counsel.
sê